What is up, boys? This is Jeff coming to you from Truckee, California, along the bike path to North Star Resort, seeing if I can get up to the snow. It's almost 20 miles round trip, 1,000-foot climb, and thus decided to ride the Lorentz Major, as this board friggin' has the max range and speed, and not even e-bikes have a chance of competing. Just still on the bike path. This is a pretty windy section, good spot to practice some sharper corners, even though they don't really look that sharp with the 360 camera, but it is narrow, everything's fairly sharp, and then right into the North Star Golf Resort. Figured I'd check out some of this little area. This path was pretty dang bumpy. Really had to bend my legs, keep everything loose, but also take these relatively sharp corners, and on such a big board I thought it might be a challenge, but the Lorentz Majors kind of ate them all up, no problem. These trucks actually seem to absorb a lot. The deck has zero flex, so that's not helping me out, and the wheels and tires are kind of low profile, so those ain't really doing me any favors either. But still, felt like a champ getting through all this little tight sections and just trying to push my comfort zones a little bit, keeping the speed up a bit higher than I normally would, and just seeing what I and the board was capable of. You can definitely kind of tell through this little section, all the cracks in the pathway here, it got real bumpy. So I had to really focus on just keeping my knees nice and soft and just being able to carve through this. Over this bridge, this was pretty gnarly. This was really rough and kind of freaked me out. I came into it pretty quick. So there was no slowing down really, and there was no stopping. By this point, I was really getting a good feeling for the board on this narrow pathway through the golf course, and I was feeling real confident and just feeling like I was getting a good amount of control over the board, just shifting my body weight, shifting my feet around, and able to just take any of these corners at speed with confidence that nothing's going to slide out. And some of these sections actually did have some wet and ice on them, just like right there, but kind of came out into the path. But as long as you keep your speed up, I felt like I could roll right through it. And after blasting through the golf section, decided to come into the proper North Star Resort, where all the high fashion stores are and all of the ski and snowboard gear your heart desires. Luckily, it's a Wednesday, so no one's actually even here. So you can ride the e-skate right through the village. No security, no people are here to yell at me. So you can just get some good views of the actual resort, and then coming around this corner to the infamous North Star ice skating rink. Pretty sweet. This usually goes all summer, all winter. Not too bad spot for the kiddos. And now for the proper climb up to the actual ski resort, the Ritz-Carlton, where all the runs really begin. And this is where it starts getting steep, so of course decided to blast the throttle and see how quick I get up it. This here is about the top, right below the Ritz-Carlton, which of course is built on top of the mountain as high up as they can make it because that's where these people like to stay. Definitely start getting a bit colder up here, but it is beautiful. You can see some of the ski runs behind me. They are making snow like crazy and getting that half pipe already going. It's kind of where Shaun White did a lot of his training, so he did have his own custom made half pipe just for him right up here at the Ritz. I guess people like him who are rich and famous athletes, this is where they like to stay. But I ain't sticking around. I'm riding right through and I'm out of here. This was a descent that was actually making me a bit nervous. It's usually got quite a bit of traffic on it from all the cars going up and down to the Ritz-Carlton, and sometimes some actual semis bringing food up and everything. So I was a bit nervous just because of that. Plus it's really steep, there are some sharper turns, and I didn't want to ride the brakes the whole way down. I wanted to keep pushing my comfort zones and see how quick I could go. In the beginning, just had a couple of speed wobbles, but then after I got my feet situated, it was really not a problem. You really can't even tell how steep this is because of the fisheye lens, but take my word for it, it is pretty steep going down, and really you don't even need any throttle on it. The board carries its own momentum pretty well. These gear drives on the Lorentz Major are super smooth, and so you are able to regen and then save a lot of energy from going back down, especially when you drain quite a bit of your battery going up some steep 8%, 10% grades up 1,000 feet. So it is nice to have that efficiency coming back down, but really this battery is so huge you don't need it. It's gonna get you further than you really even want to go. And then back to the bike paths. Getting back down into Truckee proper. First I got to wind myself back down the side of the mountainside. There's a lot of switchbacks. Doesn't really look too sharp again because it's fisheye, but it's pretty sharp. But the board actually carves pretty well. You can kind of see I got my foot definitely on the edge of the board when I got to make sharper turns. But it does get going as long as you rock your weight over to one side and you get these big trucks really carving over. point when I could really start seeing some weather rolling in. The wind really started ripping about here, and you can just see the dark clouds coming. That is a bunch of snow forecasted on the way. So right here, straight section, was able just to punch the Lorentz Major 30 miles an hour plus. Really not too big of a deal. It was, my body was catching a lot of wind, so that was a bit of some extra anxiety. But as long as I kind of got low, the board actually stayed really stable, and I was just able to punch right through and get back to the car. I made it just in time before those dark clouds actually got to me and started raining really hard. So fortunate enough to have some extra speed and stability, you know, through some pretty gnarly conditions. Thank you guys for watching. And so in closing, I just want to say this Lorentz Major board is pretty incredible. The more you ride it, the more comfortable you get with its power, its overall speed, its, you know, agility, along with being super stable. You know, you just got to move your feet along on this board to really move those trucks around. And once you kind of get that feeling, you get that good carving ability. It's just like being on a snowboard on the groomers, and it just rewards and rewards the more you ride it.